Hey guys, Mr. Hood here. It is time to do some model magic. Let's get to work. Okay, so today we're going to work with some model magic. I have out some markers as well, and we are going to use those in just a second, and you'll understand what they're for. So when you open up a single bag of model magic, kind of work it in your hands a little bit. Not a ton, just enough to get it to have a little bit of a smooth texture. And I will remind you, if you have not before this, go wash your hands, please. You don't want your model magic, since it's white, to get dirty, and trust me, it will suck up all the dirt on your hands and put it on the model magic. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a marble finish on the marble magic. So we're going to pick a color, any color you like. I think I am going to go with purple for this one. So I wouldn't, if you want to, you can pick more than one color, but I wouldn't go more than two, just because it'll get muddy and you don't want that to happen. Now that we have a finish on it, and of course when we're done creating something, we're going to be able to paint it as well, but tear off a small piece and roll it up into a ball, just like that. Tear off another piece and roll it into a ball as well. So now there's different ways you can do this. You can work negatively by poking holes in it and making the eyes and the mouth holes in the actual model magic, or you can do it additively, and that means adding other pieces to it. Now that's kind of what I had in mind, and so I'm going to try and make two pieces relatively the same size, like that. I'm going to stick it on the head and I'm going to flatten them out like that, and then like that. Now I like the way that looks, but I want to add another piece on each eye, just so they really kind of stand out and look a little more interesting. Here we go. Now it's the next day. I gave it some time to dry. It's enough for it to stand up on its own, as you can see, but it's still relatively flexible. And that's kind of how model magic is. Even when it's completely dry, it's going to stay semi-flexible. And I'll show you what I mean. This is something that my son made, and Baby Yoda. He did this by actually adding food coloring to the model magic before he molded it. Now the warning there is, if you do that, that's fine. You'll get lots of really cool colors. You should wear gloves, because as you blend it in your hands, it will stain your hands with the food coloring. Here's another one of the worm creatures sticking its tongue out at you. And see, and it's dry now, and it doesn't really bend, although it has kind of a squishy feel to it. Here is a cupcake. Again, made the same way. The colored bits are still Model Magic, but were made by adding food coloring to the Model Magic before molding. Again, make sure you wear gloves, please. It will come out of your hands eventually, but until then, you're going to have pink hands, green hands, whatever you choose to make. I'm actually going to put that there for now. And then this was also made using Model Magic, a rose. For mine, I could use markers, and I will show you how to do that, but I think I'm going to use paints. So here's the purple marker that we used originally to color the Model Magic, and as you can see, it came out with a really kind of a neat purple swirl. Now if I want to, I could put, I'm going to put just a dot on his back, on his tail here, back here, and I'll run these all the way up. And here is spots going all the way up his back to his head. Now I could keep working with the markers, and that's totally fine, and if that's what you have at home, then that's how I recommend you do it. I have paints, so I'm going to paint him, and I will concentrate with his eyes for starters, and we'll do this a little fast. And there you have it, one Model Magic worm-like creature. I used paints and markers and a skinny Sharpie. You can use whatever you have at home, whatever's available. You can change the color of it by adding food coloring. Anything you want to do is entirely up to you. Remember to let it dry at least overnight so that it will retain its shape and you'll be able to paint, color, what have you. If you find that while working with it, it doesn't seem to want to stick together, that does happen sometimes. And in fact, if you look right here, I had to add a little piece onto his body because every time I let him go, he was angling towards the table. So adding a little bit is fine, and that piece is actually very wet right now, but I was still able to color it as long as I kept my hands free. It was fine, and there we have it. So I look forward to seeing what you've done. You can leave comments. Please subscribe so that you'll get the next video when it comes out. And this has been Mr. Hood's Art Class with Model Magic.